Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, no video today. You and me are just gonna chat one-on-one. Mano y mano. Never mind, sorry. I was trying to be funny. Didn't work out. That's okay, though. The Cult of Mithras. Secret societies, preemptive like Roman history. The original link to the video. Hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, rude. My name's Connor if you're new. Hi, guys. The link to the original video from Extra History, top of the description. Click on it. Send you right over there if you haven't seen it yet or just want to watch it on your own. Let's get started. We're good? Go.
Ritual meal. Londinium Britannia, 3rd century CE. You descend into darkness. Around you, flickering shadows dance in low lantern flames as you see Roman worshippers breaking bread in a ritual meal. Among them are politicians, soldiers, even slaves, all acting as equals. For a moment, you think this might be a Christian chapel, built underground to elude authorities. But once your eye catches the statue at the end, glowing in a shaft of light, you realize there's nothing Christian about it. It is a white bull surrounded by animals. A dog laps at its spilling blood, while a snake coils around one leg, mouth open to the ruby droplets. A raven looks on as a scorpion viciously clamps on the bull's scrotum, and astride the animal sits the god Mithras, wrenching the bull's head up and plunging a dagger into its neck. What does this mean?
Imagery.
Well, that, dear viewer, is a secret. Unless, of course, you'd like to join the Brotherhood.
I know what it means. So, the dog symbolizes, I don't know.
Blood,
I don't know, sorry.
A scorpion, Mithras, wrenching the bull's head up and plunging a dagger. Secret. Unless, of course, you'd like to join the Brotherhood. Thanks so much to Factor for being the secret that keeps us extra historians well-fed fast. Dear viewer, I can see you are a curious sort. A subscriber, hopefully, of a certain quality. Well, if you wish for illumination, all you have to do is follow me.
There's gonna be weird sex
I'd be lying
stuff,
if I
isn't
said
there?
we weren't watching you for some time, noting your hunger for the truth. And truth is something we can most assuredly give. That is, of course, if you dare take it. Oh, Allie, the blindfold, please. Welcome, seeker of knowledge, to Ordo Extra Historia, a clandestine society dedicated to forbidden knowledge of the past and terrible Latin. Over the next several weeks, as you move up in our ranks, we will grant you revelations about some of history's most famous secret societies, why they formed, what members got out of them, and how they influenced history. Now, our order has long lurked in the shadows, with many famous and prominent members throughout time, like, well, you know, Allie over there, and Zoe, me, of course, Rob, definitely, founding member, and, you know, George Washington was probably one, too. You can't prove he wasn't, because, secrets. But before we get into any of that, we must first tell you the secret rules of our order you must follow. Supreme Excellent Lawgiver, if you please. Bam! Right there! You break that covenant, and we will be so mad at you. But enough preamble. On to the first grade of revelations that we bequeath upon you. The history of one of the oldest secret societies, the Cult of Mithras. Mithraism was a mystery religion, a specific subset of religious beliefs that thrived in the ancient world, and as you will find out each episode as you move up in our ranks, would eventually come to define later secret societies.
New ranks for Discord.
Mystery religions were small subsets of Greek and Roman religious worshippers who practiced secret rites, claiming special or ancient knowledge of mythic figures, religious stories, or esoteric subjects. Pythagoreans, for example, held the secrets of geometry and told tales of its place in the cosmic order. The cult of Isis was a Hellenistic group born during the melding of Greek and Egyptian religion, which claimed special understanding of magic. And during Dionysian rituals, the god of wine and fruitfulness...
What do eggs have to do with Easter? That's a tangent. Forget it.
Understanding of magic. And during the...
This just looked like an egg. and I thought, forget it.
Building of Greek and Egyptian religion, which claimed special understanding of magic. And during Dionysian rituals, the god of wine and fruitfulness presided over heavy drinking and sexual rites. Granted, there were many, many more, all sharing similar rules. Secret rituals and knowledge, selective invite-only membership, and hierarchical grades where one gained more knowledge, power, or insight, the higher one rose. These societies themselves weren't secret. Their inner workings, however, were. But among the most successful cults were the Mithraic mysteries. Though first, we do need to go over the true meaning of that word, cult. See, the modern world has given the word cult a bit of a bad rap, because you hear cult, and you're likely to picture Heaven's Gate, or the Branch Davidians, or maybe an English rocker telling you that some woman's selling sanctuary, but that last one might just be me. But what cult actually means academically is a subset of worship, basically a group within a group.
Well, it's a really strong word, cult. It's very strong, so I feel like it gives off a bad vibe, but maybe I'm just influenced because of my prior knowings of cults, so...
Group actually means academically is a subset of worship, basically a group within a group with slightly divergent beliefs, like the cult of the Virgin Mary in Catholicism, for example. However, in the 20th century, the word increasingly became used as a pejorative to describe new religious movements that traditional religions considered threatening or uncomfortable. But just know that when we use it here, it's academically. What we know for sure about Mithraism is actually fairly scant, because its members held their vow of secrecy well. Ancient texts discussing the group are frequently either asides or from people such as early Christians criticizing it. But when some of these accounts are cross-referenced with the remains of Mithras temples, known as mithraeums, found all over the Roman world, some information can be corroborated. We know, for instance, that like many mystery religions, Mithraism involved a select group of worshippers sharing a communal meal. And we know these communities were small due to the size of the buildings, which were often either built in or built to resemble a cave. Likely no more than 20 to 30 men, the Mithraic mysteries being a male-only group, could fit in there at the same time. However, archaeological evidence does suggest that the wider community would occasionally feast outside in a community event. We also know from carvings that the 7 grades of membership described in the written accounts were definitely used. These ranged from the lowest ranked Corax or Raven, first rank members, to the 4th rank Leo or Lion, all the way to the 7th ranked Pater or Fathers, who served as leaders. Generally, it's assumed that most adherents would achieve the Leo ranking. Now, no one's really sure exactly how these ranks worked, since some evidence suggests they were disregarded.
Not to go too deep here in like evolution, psychology, anthropology, but like what makes us want to be, what makes it so, well, the higher up you get in society, never mind, I'm kind of answering my own questions. Why are cults so appealing? Just forget it. Just ignore me right now.
Generally, it's assumed that most adherents would achieve the Leo ranking. Now, no one's really sure exactly how these ranks worked, since some evidence suggests they were disregarded during the meals, or not particularly hierarchical. But it is known that each elevation in grade did come with a series of ordeals, which could involve endurance of temperature extremes, or being blindfolded and threatened with death. One body-sized pit discovered in a mithraeum in northern England suggests some sort of simulated or symbolic burial and rebirth. In another, the initiate had to refuse all crowns, saying their only crown was Mithras. Now, if you've noticed an astrological theme at this point, you are not imagining things. Most of these ranks and symbolic animals had astrological significance.
What is that,
Each
a
grade
hat?
was tied to one of the 7 known planets of the classical world, and it's generally assumed Mithras himself contained some astronomical significance, though that itself is buried in mystery. Actually, speaking of mysteries, you're probably also wondering who exactly this Mithras was. Like, what was he the god of? Well, that's surprisingly a difficult question as well. The Romans certainly thought he was Persian, since he wears a Persian-style cap. And Mithras seems to be related to an earlier Persian god, Mithra, who presided over contracts and agreements. However, the cult itself is so traditionally Roman that it's believed only a few key details, and possibly just the name, of the god were borrowed. In other words, he's not an ancient Persian god. He's the Roman idea of an ancient Persian god. The Roman Mithras appears to have been a form of solar deity who hunted a cosmic bull and dragged it to an underground cave before slaughtering it. Though rather than an act of destruction, this may have been a story of creating bounty, since the bull's wound often incorporates sprouting grain stalks. But again, these are theories and not well understood. Mithras was also associated heavily with the Roman sun god Sol Invictus, who features in art from Mithraeums. What is clear, though, is that Mithras was popular. Archaeologists have identified between 200 and 400 possible.
I have like a burning desire to find out what Invictus means. Unconquerable, undefeated in Latin. So the unconquerable sun? Right?
Sol Invictus, who features in art from Mithraeums. What is clear, though, is that Mithras was popular. Archaeologists have identified between 200 and 400.
That is based on my childhood crush in the Mummy series, Rachel Weisz, and I know they're doing that. That's her right there.
That Mithras was popular. Archaeologists have identified between 200 and 400 possible Mithraeums throughout the former Roman Empire, with the cult beginning in the 1st century CE and continuing into the 4th century. In fact, so many Mithraeums have been discovered, some with membership lists on their walls, that it's actually possible to track members transferring from one group to another, which seems to have been a major appeal of the sect. See, Mithraism was a cult that attracted the common people, middle class, and even slaves. But it was also vastly popular in the Roman army, which was a group that frequently moved around. Mithraeums have been discovered at the very edges of the Roman Empire, from military outposts in Syria to one literally built under Hadrian's Wall. For a soldier being transferred to a new posting, the local Mithraeum could be a touchstone that gave them both a familiar environment and inbuilt group of companions. Its masculine themes of hunting and violence no doubt appealed to soldiers who would have also used the social atmosphere to form connections that might aid their careers. Because there, commanding officers could be approached as brothers rather than superiors, and a high grade in the group signaled trustworthiness and status.
This just seems like religion. So a cult is by definition, like said in the beginning, a group of people inside of a community that is a little separate of that community. And so if you're in a religion or something, and then you create like a hierarchy, like your pope, like, so are cardinals and the pope a cult by the literal definition? A cult within Christianity, because they, or is that not, is that not? Well, no, because they're not really separate beliefs. They're just like a hierarchy. So does that mean Protestantism is a cult of Catholicism? I'm not great with religion. I'm trying to be better.
This rather than superiors, and a high grade in the group signaled trustworthiness and status. This tie with the army likely became increasingly close during the later Roman Empire, as the Emperor Aurelian established the cult of Sol Invictus, popular with troops, and a major feature in Mithras worship alongside traditional Roman religion. However, by the 4th century, Mithras had a powerful foe in early Christianity. The belief systems competed for converts, but really it was no contest. The enclosed and intimate nature of Mithraism meant it couldn't propagate with the speed and missionary zeal of Christianity.
So is Christianity a cult of Judaism? And then Islam is a cult of earlier Abrahamic religions? I'm focusing too much on the cult definition right now.
Meant it couldn't propagate with the speed and missionary zeal of Christianity. Though, arguably, the priesthood would eventually take many of the aspects of mystery religions, such as elaborate incantations, hierarchical grades of membership, and special knowledge. But then, over 1,000 years later, when the Catholic Church had a hold on political power, another secret society emerged to challenge it: the Illuminati. But, dear viewer, those secrets are for when you return next time and attain your second grade of wisdom in the Ordo Extra Historia.
Or returning right now.
But you know, there is one last secret I can bequeath to you before we part ways until next time, and that is
Sponsor.
the code to unlock affordable breakfast, lunch, and dinner enlightenment with Factor.
Guys, it's their content and stuff that we're lucky enough to watch here. We're going to play through this ad here. If it interests you, we're going to play part 2, all right? So this will be in the middle of the reaction video. If this interests you and you heard it here, please make sure to use the promo codes and links that are in the original link. I'm making it too confusing. Just use the promo codes and links. Not only will you get the percentage off, but it shows the sponsor that they're getting a lot of traffic through their videos. So it's only right. Let's go.
Seriously, though, there's a discount code at the end of the read. Factor, of course, being my favorite ready-to-eat meal delivery service that I've been using for over a year and a half now, because each of their tasty meals is ready in just 2 minutes with no prep, no mess, and best of all, no cleanup. Just great food ready when I have time to eat it. It seriously removes so much stress from my day. It is awesome. Each week, I review Factor's rotating menu and pick what I'm feeling from their tons of seasonal meals and add-on options, like their cold-pressed juices, protein shakes, wellness shots, and smoothies that I know I can't get enough of. There's so many options to choose from. I can always be sure that everyone in my household is going to get the food that they love.
Hey, sorry, back. I washed my hands.
Since spring has officially sprung, I was craving their tomato basil chicken risotto. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. Plus, since I didn't have to cook a whole meal from scratch, I was actually able to take the pets out in this gorgeous weather for extra walks. No, that's not the name of a new show of ours. Although, I digress. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code EXTRACREDITS50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next box. Okay, got it? Good. Now it's tasty task time. Get fast and flavorful meals at a deep discount here, and once your dinner is decided, check out our next savory selection here.
Thank you very much.
Bavaria, 1785. Guards.
Let's go, guys. Illuminati.
On the road. Bavaria, 1785. Guards on the road are alerted to keep an eye out for suspects fleeing the country. Bavarian police hammer on doors. For the Prince-Elector Karl Theodor has discovered a secret plot. A subversive group has wormed its way into the leadership structures of power. The post office, the army, Freemasonry, the universities, spreading its credo of secularism, atheism, and the restructuring of society. Members of the group who are caught are arrested. Police seize tranches of documents detailing plans for a silent revolution. Yet still at large is their leader, a man known by the codename Spartacus, Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati.
I wonder if stuff like this sprouted from a need to, or a want to be able to converse about stuff in an area that's safe and away from a lot of the judgments of a lot of people who might not have been so fond of it. And so I feel like we want to jump to like this geniusly organized thing to like spread out and control things, and it's all powerful. It's likely not it, but I wonder if it sprouted from being in an area during a time where it wasn't so great to like speak against religion and whatnot, and to create a place where really smart people could talk about let's just go. Talk about things without being...
Of course, it's no secret that NordVPN helps our orders stay safe on the internet. For a 2-year plan on a huge discount, check out nordvpn.com/extracreditsvpn after the episode. Welcome back, Initiate, to the second grade of wisdom in the Ordo Extra Historia. Today we shall initiate you into the knowledge of the mysterious Illuminati. But first, the Supreme Excellent Lawgiver must reveal you a new sacred rule binding our covenant. Don't Google this stuff! Seriously, just don't. Trust me. Please, 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 please. Most of the information online is hot garbage that tells you nothing, and your YouTube recommendations will become mega weird. So please just trust me on this one, because somehow...
I love... there's this thing that's like a new to you thing you can click on in YouTube that is so freaking good, finally. Because once you get... like, once you start watching certain things and then your algorithm sends you more to those things and shows you similar topics on your homepage, but before you know it, it's like you can't get out and look at different things that you might like because the algorithm is just like, sometimes I'll just click on videos a bunch of times that are different from what I usually watch to, so that the algorithm won't just send me the same stuff. But there's a new to you button on YouTube. You can click and show you new stuff. Anyways.
A 18th century revolutionary society. Weird. So please just trust me on this one, because somehow a 18th century revolutionary society from Central Europe has become the big bad of fringe conspiracy theorists. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. On May 1st, 1776, Adam Weishaupt, a 28-year-old professor at the University of Ingolstadt, decided to start a secret society. Now, this isn't as weird as it sounds on the surface. Secret societies were all the rage in the 18th century and Weishaupt's native Bavaria. The most popular were the Freemasons, who kept lodges in most major cities, but it also boasted chapters of the Rosicrucians, an invisible college of experimenters who variously sought alchemical knowledge, ancient Egyptian magic, and natural law. Universities were also a particular hotbed for secret societies, formed so students and professors could discuss Enlightenment ideals like democracy and secularism, considered dangerous to the social order.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say.
Like
a place where you can go and smart people can go and talk about things without the repercussions of being in public and some of those things not being accepted.
And secularism, considered dangerous to the social order. And Weishaupt loved Enlightenment ideas. In fact, he was quite literally a child of the Enlightenment. Orphaned at age 4, he'd been raised by an uncle who unleashed him in his private library of radical texts. So it was likely this type of academic discussion group Weishaupt set out to create. At first, his group was small and consisted mainly of his students. Though he did have to keep those ideals hidden as he attended Jesuit schools, then university, always under the eye of the monks. The Jesuits fostered a culture of surveillance, with students and faculty encouraged to inform on one another. However, the Jesuit zealotry and tenacity to meddle in politics caused their downfall. The Pope abolished their order in 1773, which opened a place for Weishaupt. With Jesuits expelled from faculty, he was able to take up a position as professor of canon law, and he decided to use that position to remake the world. See, Weishaupt had come to believe that religion had a corrosive effect on society, and that what humanity needed was a fully secular government run by reason and Enlightenment principles rather than superstition, and he knew how to accomplish it. Via a secret order, who would gain positions of influence, then steer the world from the shadows. But of course, before that, he kinda needed to learn how to secret society, by which we mean he copied off existing ones. First, he joined a Freemason lodge in Munich. Finding a like-minded ally in one of the lodge's high-up members, he persuaded the man to disclose all of the hidden knowledge of Freemasonry so that they could use it in their own organization. Then Weishaupt directed his students to join the Masons, spreading the influence of his new secret society by embedding it in the established networks of an existing one. After all, it was a key tenet of Weishaupt's philosophy that his organization might work under a variety of names and guises, pushing always toward revolutionary change. Those members initiated more members within the Freemason lodges, at times presenting this new secret society as a legitimate sub-faction.
I feel like this was probably as old as humans, like as old as like secret societies. I'm sure back in like Stone Age times, like people thought like, you know, the stick is the best weapon, and then people would go aside and be like, actually, sharp rocks are pretty good. They're like, no, that's heresy. And so you do a secret order, and then you infiltrate and you make rocks. That was a bad comparison. No, it was. It was not a bad comparison.
Action of Masonry, time's change. Those members initiated more members within the Freemason lodges, at times presenting this new secret society as a legitimate sub-faction of Masonry, an order that would, through study of Enlightenment philosophy and controlled teachings, create perfect humans. A name spoken of only in whispers. A name that would make the powerful shudder. And that name was the Order of the Perfectibilists! I'm sorry, what? Oh, you thought that name sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the Perfectibilists.
You took the word right out of my mouth. I was about to say that sucks.
I'm sorry, what? Oh, you thought that name sucked. Yeah, well, the perfectibilists thought so
That
too. So they
sucks.
urged Weishaupt to change it in order to attract more recruits.
Illuminati.
And they had just the name to go with. The Illuminati. Think about
Illuminati. Illuminate. You're the... What does E mean? The suffix? Prefix? Illuminate. Illuminati. It makes sense.
about it. It's powerful and
Forget
mysterious,
it.
while also proclaiming their Enlightenment ideals. Real brainworm, that one is. But like most good ideas, it was stolen. Yeah, Illuminati was a word already used to describe devotees of the Enlightenment, and it was also the name of a mystical Catholic sect formed by a Spanish woman in 1492. They just
It's like when you're trying to find a company name. It's like, oh, it's taken. Oh,
of
no.
a mystical Catholic sect formed by a Spanish woman in 1492. They just
So
didn't
obscure.
seem to care.
Oh.
Like the Masons, they established grades of membership and began writing deep lore and backgrounds claiming ancient knowledge. That was partially invented by a member and partially stolen from published Rosicrucian papers. To enter, initiates had to write a literary essay, and upon passing, would ascend to the first grade of membership.
It's like
Their
Scientology.
learning was strictly controlled in order to produce the desired educational effect, and more Freemason rituals were included in the middle level until the initiate tried to achieve the rank of priest and full entry into the highest level of mysteries. There, they would be shown a table of treasures with a crown and scepter, and behind that, a throne. The initiate would then be told that if this power tempted them, they would be cast out permanently. To refuse the crown would be to walk the path of obedience to the order and a promise to help subvert the system for the cause of the Enlightenment. Hey, wait, didn't the Cult of Mithras last week also involve refusing a crown? Huh, interesting that element keeps popping up. Loyalty was
Yeah, but
also
the Illuminati doesn't have a ball-clenching scorpion.
secured during these tests. Huh, interesting that element
Orf.
keeps popping up. Loyalty was also secured during these tests as part of the initiation rituals involved the candidate telling an examiner their darkest secrets and desires. Blackmail material should they ever betray the order. The Illuminati were always watching, you see, an element Weishaupt borrowed from the Jesuits. He also proposed a sort of kindergarten where
What would they do if like it wasn't embarrassing enough? Would they be like, no, that's not enough. We need to hold something against you that you won't dare betray us.
an element of
I stole bread.
Weishaupt
Nope.
borrowed from the Jesuits. He also proposed
I
a
stuck-
sort of kindergarten where female members would teach Enlightenment texts. And the order spread, dispersing through the Freemason lodges of Europe. It reached into Austria, France, and other cities in the Holy Roman Empire. In some lodges, half of the members were actually Illuminati, while a few lodges were taken over.
So are these, is that one of the map things? What do you call those? You know, like the V and like you like measure on a map. Is that what these things are? Or is that like on the top and it's a V on the bottom?
Half of the members were actually Illuminati, while a few lodges were taken over entirely. This included a lodge in Vienna that counted Mozart as a member, but whether or not he knew about the secret inner order is still unknown.
Wasn't he
Illuminati
insane?
leadership did, however, try to recruit people of influence, and by 1784, the Illuminati had 2,000 members, which included a general, government officials, professors, and a postmaster general who had the power to read anyone's mail. Now, at this point in our teachings, you might be wondering, what did Weishaupt do with all that power? Well, I'm gonna tell you, nothing. Yeah, he was mostly focused on taking over more and more Freemason lodges, issuing strict guidelines to follow, and trying to subvert the Rosicrucians. Not exactly a wild act of sabotage. And that's when the whole thing collapsed. No one's quite sure what happened, but in 1784, some Illuminati correspondence fell into government hands, possibly due to the actions of the Rosicrucians, who were kinda sick of the Illuminati messing with their members. The hammer came down fast. First, the Elector Count sent out his troops and police to arrest Illuminati members and question them. The whole thing fell like dominoes, with each raid netting more confessions, denouncements, and documents. And the story was a terrifying one to those in power. This was a secret order dedicated to revolution by subterfuge, which had operated under the government's nose for years. The fact it had never gotten around to actually doing anything was immaterial. To embarrass and discredit the group, the Bavarian government published the seized documents. And by the next year, in 1785, the Holy Roman Emperor banned all secret societies, apart from the Freemasons, who had to register membership lists with the police. Weishaupt himself escaped to sanctuary in another German state, where he spent the rest of his life.
Wait, what? Weren't they already banned?
Apart from the Freemasons, who had to register membership lists.
It's not a secret society. I guess a secret society doesn't have to be secret to everyone that it exists, just for you to know the stuff, so.
And all secret societies, apart from the Freemasons, who had to register membership lists with the police. Weishaupt himself escaped to sanctuary in another German state, where he spent the rest of his life writing books about Illuminatist ideas and died in his 80s. For all practical purposes, the Illuminati died in 1784, crushed by the Bavarian government, but then the conspiracy theory
Aliens
started.
Oh, God. I think that people like to imagine that there's like a lot of people in the world that are somehow like super intelligent and like run the world. And I'm sure in a lot of places it is, but people are people, okay? They're like you. The people in the Illuminati, faults, prejudices, whatever. And so it probably died. And it was a club that wanted to be in the background. Maybe there's one around today. But to attach all of these like they caused 9/11 to like a bunch of things that it's a little aggravating, because you're implying that they're like geniuses, like not mere humans, but like everyone is kind of the same, sort of winging it is what let's go. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. That's this guy. Tsoukalos, Georgie.
In 1797, 2 separate books were published in England, alleging that the Illuminati had survived and were the secret puppet masters behind the French Revolution. The books proved especially popular in the newly founded United States, which ironically held many of the same views as Weishaupt. Thomas Jefferson was a fan, but also triggered an era of paranoia about secret societies and hidden plots. From there, they became a symbol rather than a group, the name pinned in the center of every conspiracy fanatic's corkboard, an all-purpose boogeyman, mostly because of a really great name they took from other people.
So it was a group that fell, but it was very well known after it fell, and so became a kind of a term for any like high-level backroom dealings and planning. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, in a way, you could say that the Illuminati does still live on.
No.
Specifically now in your internet history. Sorry about that. Congratulations, Watcher. You have now achieved the rank of Adept in the Ordo Extra Historia. Hail the Watchers!
Hail
the Patrons! Hail! 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 You know, you have just been a delight. You all should come back next week, and maybe, just maybe, you might attain the rank of Quill Bearer, because we're going to be exploring the Knights of the Golden Circle, a group set on building a slave empire in the Americas. Though, as...
Wait, an empire controlled by former slaves, or an empire to create more slavery?
You are conducting your pre-episode research, just remember that if you decide to ignore our sacred second rule, you are going to need some extra privacy to protect you in those nasty
VPN.
dark bits of the internet. But luckily for you,
Guys, make sure if this interests you to use their promo codes and
Ordo
links, all
Extra
right?
Historia can get you a great deal on NordVPN. Coincidence or conspiracy? You decide. With just one click, NordVPN
Neither.
shields you from malware, trackers, and ads, notifies you if someone scraped your info and put it on the dark web, gives you a dedicated IP to avoid captchas and block lists, and connects up to 10 of your devices to one of thousands of blazing fast dedicated servers around the globe, so you and yours are always protected, but also interneting super fast. Seriously, I'm not saying that I use Nord to watch videos that are region locked in the US, but
Just to give a little thing, so I'm going to end it here. I'm going to watch the next episodes, but in a different video reaction. But I think people like to imagine, come on, word it correctly. I think people like like a lot of things are just very human. Like when it comes to like subversion or like talking with people separate and like other people can't hear, secret, right? And a lot of these are just really human things that when they grow to like a country, top of country level scale or something, I think a lot of people like to contribute certain events that happen that are going to happen no matter what because of human nature and whatnot, and attribute it to history. And so the annoying thing when it comes down to like, oh, Illuminati and people who think it's much bigger, or a lot of conspiracy theories, is that so it seems like no event can happen without intervention from a higher group of people, which is nonsense. I'm not trying to say that those groups of people can't have effect on a lot of things, but it seems like there's an answer for every historical event. A lot of historical events or stuff happening, and it's like, oh, these people did it, when it's not really necessary to have them for that event to take place.
I connecting to saying, I don't know, Ireland or something, but I am saying that if someone did do that, the servers are so good that the video quality definitely wouldn't be a problem. And because our historical order is so secret, we very much appreciate Nord's privacy features. They never track or share what we do. Is so secret. We very much appreciate Nord's privacy features. They never track or share what we do online, use next generation encryption, can enable private DNS servers for increased security, and they have an actual kill switch.
Going crazy.
You know, just in case your research leads you to a place where you need to shut down fast. So for protection, privacy, and a great deal on NordVPN, all you gotta do is use our secret phrase. NordVPN.com/extra credits VPN. Or click the link below.
Guys, make sure if you're interested in that to click the link below. The original link to the video, top of the description. Click the link below. Only fair. Love y'all. Hope you're all doing well. Would appreciate any comments down below. Answers to my questions. Any comments at all. You guys are always great with that. And hopefully I'll see you guys next video. Bye.